people from across the Atlassian ecosystem and have a casual chat about partnerships, teams, services, and more. It's been a while since our previous episode, but here we are. So this time I'm excited because today I'm joined by Łukasz, the creator of Jira for the People blog and podcast. Łukasz, thanks for joining me.
Hello.
Tell me a bit about yourself first.
Okay. Hello. Nice to meet you again, Biro. As you said, I'm Łukasz or Łukasz, whatever you call me, and I'm a Jira administrator, but I'm the creator as well. So starting from my blog, I made Jira for the people.com blog, and this blog is for everyone who wants to get to know Jira and Atlassian tools better, who wants to know some hacks or let's say ways to do some stuff like upgrading application, some scripting, and so on. So that's where I share my knowledge.
That's really awesome.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Okay. So this is one part of my work, let's say, but every day I'm a Jira administrator, and I also used to work as DevOps. So I have some programming background and other tools like Bitbucket, Bamboo, and so on. And I'm gathering all this stuff and putting this on my blog. Yeah, there are not many blogs. Actually, I found another one in Polish language, because I created my blog in two languages, Polish and English. Another blog that I am a fan of is the Jira Guy, which recently it's even more known because of the Jira data center thing, which we hopefully talk about later, because it's quite important issue for many customers and for Atlassian community. But I really do appreciate what he's doing. Like he's very well experienced guy, let's say.
Oh yes, he is. We're quite good pals. I had him in a couple of pieces. We collaborate on things. Yeah, he's an awesome guy, right? But tell me. So you told me you're a Jira administrator, but how did you get into this world? Why Atlassian?
Okay. Maybe just before I will answer your question, I will tell you how I jumped into the IT world, because it's I think a little more interesting and romantic story, because I was making websites like in 90s, 98, 99. It's quite a long time ago. I was a teenager, like 13 or 14. And it were quite simple websites created in simple tools. Even sometimes in Notepad you can create them a web page in Notepad. And after gathering some experience, I made my first website for money. Not much, like €150, but for a teenager is a lot of money. And I bought my first guitar, and then music came to my world and took the first place in my life. So I left the IT path, and I've been playing, learning how to play the guitar, then finally recording some albums. And
you need to send me some of your music.
Yeah.
Now I'm really curious.
Okay, with pleasure.
Will I understand anything? Is it in Polish?
Not everything, some things are in English, some things are in Polish. I used to play many kinds of music, but now I'm focusing on let's say acoustic rock, so just the acoustic guitar and my voice, and I write in Polish and in English as well. And after
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, I'm fascinated about your acoustic rock. You need to send me some
Yeah, of
music.
course, I will. I will. Um, After like 15 years of playing and teaching people, because I also had a music school with my friend who is also in IT world right now. So after all that time, I decided to jump back into the IT world. And yeah, after 15 years, as you can expect, everything has changed. So I need to start it with like really basic steps, like client support, first line support, and so on. But I had really strong motivation, and and I could use my skills that I gained through playing shows, talking with people, and so on. Yeah, so I was not afraid to ask questions and to be the student, to have the student mindset.
I think, and sorry to interrupt here. I think that's a really good mix. People find it a bit unusual, let's put it like that, to have a creative, artistic side or career and come into IT or tech. But actually, I think it's a really good mix. I find myself in a very similar situation, and I think I can express things a bit differently because I have this creative and artistic side bundled with a tech mind as well. So I think it's a really good mix. Yeah.
So you are making music too, right?
No, not music. I tried to make music a while ago.
Okay.
It didn't go so well. But I'm into filmmaking, into editing, scripting, and things like that. I used to write some movie scripts in the past in my teenage years and so on. So it's been a bit part of my life, cinematography in general.
That's great. Sounds very interesting as well.
But yeah, so well, okay. So then you found out that the industry has changed over 15 years. Your basically your 15 years of being a musician, an artist, actually helped you in some ways in your job. And how did your job evolve?
Okay. I think it helped me. Of course, I had a couple of times this thought that I could, for example, start this job a little bit earlier, or just stay on this IT path till, from like 90s. I will be the dinosaur right now of IT, but
maybe it's for the best, because at the end of it, I think it's for the best, because you might have gotten some techniques and some standards that would have been, maybe it's for the best that you took a 15 years gap.
Now the entry level to the IT world is, I think, a little bit lower than it used to be.
Oh yeah.
Because we have a high demand of employees, and there are a lot of resources on the internet, so you don't need to invest so much to know what you want to do, let's say, or to choose the direction, so that's and if you are confident enough and experienced with people, then you could be more precise when in choosing your direction. So that's why I think that this 15 years of doing music and traveling and so on helped me with be just more, I don't know, self-aware, and taking the opportunities, and I'm not afraid of speaking to people. That's why I share my knowledge. That's the reason, because I have it in my DNA.
And you gain the soft skills that especially some of us that are a bit more, I would say, nerdy around technology might not necessarily gone down that path where we developed certain, skills, interpersonal skills, and things like that. So you already had that coming into the ecosystem. So you kind of knew how to navigate relationships, I suppose, with people.
Yeah, that's why I look at this. That's how I look at that thing. Because when you are younger, you are more flexible, and when you stretch yourself all the time, you stay flexible through the rest, hopefully through the rest of your life. So yeah, and now it's like I'm in IT industry now for like 7 years maybe. I started from making websites, but then I jumped to the company that I work for 6 years now, and that's where I started my Atlassian journey. And that's where your question begins.
Very true. So for how long have you been an administrator, an Atlassian administrator now in total?
5 years.
5 years. And what's the thing that you love the most about your job? Because something must have kept you for 5 years in this kind of Atlassian administration side of things.
Yeah, the fact that you really have responsibility there, and you have a real opportunity to make other people's lives easier, because when you help them to deliver their work faster, or just give them some tips and tricks, and when you are a Jira administrator, you can stay only on this application side, UI side, when you are granting permissions, building workflow, and so on. But there is some other sides. My favorite side is programming and scripting. So that's why it's a never-ending story. Of course, unless we had server and we have data center, then there are a lot of things to integrate by myself. So that's what I like to do the most.
Right, so is the code bit, is creating apps and scripts and expanding the Atlassian toolset with bespoke functions, to say.
Yeah, that's the thing that I like the most, actually.
And I suppose that's about your job. Is that also the thing that you love the most around Atlassian in general, or is it, I don't really care, I can do Salesforce, because you can still create functions and bespoke solutions for it? Is there anything in specific that keeps you in the Atlassian ecosystem?
One of the main things is Atlassian community, actually, because they are really helpful, and when there is a need, they can quickly develop some solution or workaround of some Atlassian tools limitations, and there are some limitations, as we all know. So that's the price of using such tools, but there is a added value of having this great Atlassian community. So we had an example like a couple of days ago, right? When there were a discussion about data center. So you saw the discussion.
I participated as well. I actually made a poll on LinkedIn, which got a bunch of traction. Yeah, and now,
okay, so I think everyone who watches knows what this is about. It's about data center future, and it would be great that if Atlassian can make some Ask Me Anything session with everyone interested. That would be great, because now we have only one response, one short article about let's say the future of data center, but it leaves some question marks as well.
Yeah, well, I suppose is that the one thing that you're not really happy with when it comes to Atlassian right now, is the whole server / data center handling of things, let's put it like that.
So yeah, I'm not happy. I like server version. We still use it in the place where I work. So we're gonna switch to data center, but because it's impossible for us to switch on cloud and have as much functionalities as we have right now.
Do you work at all with cloud?
Yes, I used to work with cloud. I also have a certificate on cloud. I'm not a fan actually, but I like the fact that it grows so fast.
Yeah, it is. Well, I mean, when it's positioned as, the hey, here you go, use cloud, I think it's inevitable that will grow fast. Would you think of Forge? Do you think that Forge will kind of like help fill that gap where cloud is not that? Because you mentioned that what you like the most is the ability to create functions and apps that scripts and apps that extend functionality and so on. Do you think Forge will be for cloud what the server plugging system was for server and data center?
You have to describe the Forge for me, because although I'm not familiar with this, or I forgot about this, I don't know. You please describe me.
So basically, have you seen Connect? Do you know Connect at any chance?
Not really.
Okay, so the traditional classical framework for developing for cloud was Connect, which is this iframe-based, module-based way of integrating with Jira that has basically an API wrapper around the iframe to communicate with your app, to communicate with Jira and so on. But it's hosted by you, and you have to handle the whole thing. And for that reason also, you cannot really access too many things in, let's say, your Jira instance, in the client's Jira instance, because it's an external app hosted on an external server by a third party. Forge, basically Forge apps are kind of like Lambda functions with a UI and an interface that are hosted by Atlassian on basically plugged into the Jira instance that installs your app. So it's basically a piece of code that exists in that Jira instance, and it's in the Atlassian servers, right? So it's in their control. So that means that theoretically in the future they're going to enable Forge to do a lot more than what Connect was able to do, because it's more similar with server, where you have a piece of code that installs in the server. It's the same thing. You have a piece of code that actually uploads and installs on their infrastructure, and apparently they will be in the future able to enable more things that you can control in the Jira instance. At least that's what I'm thinking and hoping. But it also kind of complies with more enterprise customer requirements around security and compliance and things like that.
Okay, so after what you said, I must agree with you, actually. So as you see, I'm a server guy, but still, after what you said, I think that will be a chance to extend this functionality and have some,
It's
control.
still pretty much in its infancy. We build 2 apps with Forge. So we have 5 apps in the marketplace. 3 of them are with Connect, built before Forge was even a thought, and we built 2 recently with Forge. One of them bigger. There's still a lot of things that need to be ironed out to even get to 100% feature parity with Connect framework. And only afterwards they will probably start thinking of, okay, how do we give more control to developers in the customers' instances. So there's at least there's a while until it's going to be comparable with what server has.
Yeah. Okay. But that's where Atlassian community came in, because they can make a bit pressure on that.
Yeah.
Since Atlassian community is more, connected, socialized, they can be a valuable voice when it comes to speaking with Atlassian about the future of tools, let's say.
Like we did. So we partner up with our partner in Investor Resolution from Germany, and we had a hackathon. This was last year, in spring last year. We had a hackathon to test out Forge, and this was in the early days of Forge. It was still in beta. And post that hackathon, we learned a lot about the limitations, and we wrote a chunky state of Forge report with all of the, it's missing this, we couldn't do this, or this is available, and so on, which really helped other vendors to really understand the state of the framework. But also it was a really impactful voice towards Atlassian themselves and the Forge teams, picking up that information and figuring out what's important for us. So I think you're right. I think community is what keeps me interested in the Atlassian ecosystem quite a lot, because I've never been part of an ecosystem with more of a tighter community than Atlassian.
Yeah, it's also like good balance. It gives some balance, and it's a instant feedback for the company, as you said. It's like we can directly say what we want, like what we need, right?
Exactly. All right. Well, yeah, I guess when it comes to data center and everything in between, I do feel that this is gonna it's gonna snowball a bit from here. I think Rodney was the catalyst with that article. I might have had a little bit of something to do with it, with that post on that poll.
Of course.
But I think from now, because I was just looking at the conversation on that developer forum, where like so many people replied there.
Yeah, this is great.
So I think there was the catalyst, and now there's gonna be a bit of a snowball effect in that sense. I think it's not the last thing that we're gonna hear from Atlassian about it.
Hopefully.
Yes, because there's quite a bit commotion around it. So I doubt that that's gonna be set it and forget it there as a post, right? But now let's go to, I would say, happier places. I want to know about you creating content. Tell me what motivated you to share with others in this public format.
Okay. After working and gathering information about Jira administration, I have collected my little knowledge base with some my own scripts, solutions and so on. And I came to the point where I wanted to share it with the world. And I also seen that there are not so many places like blogs, as I said before, where people do that, especially in Polish language, because Jira and Atlassian tools are becoming more and more widely used, and I think it's gonna be like this for some more time. So this situation will require more and more Jira administrators, ready to work. So that's where I see the value of my blog, and also I wanted to connect with people. I want to know their opinions on stuff, and I want to build some community around it. And my next step is to create a Jira course, let's say,
right?
Also in two languages.
Nice, very nice. So and this Jira course, is it gonna be like a video course or a written publication?
It's gonna be like a video course, but not with my face, maybe on the beginning, but with some examples, and it's gonna be one because I have an idea for two courses. One is for beginners, administrators, and for all of the people who wants to increase their market value as administrators.
Mm-hmm.
And the second course is gonna be about scripting and integrating Jira with other systems, because I know that there is a demand on that as well.
Yeah, for sure.
So the course, if anyone will be interested, the website for this, which I'm building right now, it's just jiraschool.com.
Mm-hmm. Okay, is it ready? People can go there to your website?
Not yet while we are recording. But when you will publish this material, I think it's gonna be ready.
Yeah,
so.
At least put a form there with I am interested in this course, so you get a bit of traction.
At least the form will be ready.
Are there many Polish courses around Atlassian toolset in Polish language?
Really.
I mean,
not really. There are some videos on YouTube, but there are not, let's say, course, but some, one video on that topic, one video on this topic. These videos are useful, but they are not lead you from point A to point B. And they just, some pieces of information. There are 1, 2, maybe 3 courses on that, but, every teacher, every Jira administrator has different experiences and different perspective, so it's worth sharing, I think.
No, that's brilliant. Well, you heard it here first, folks. Proper Polish courses coming your way, so feel free to check the links in the description for where to find the course. Well, so you have the blog, written content, and you also have a YouTube channel where you have your own podcast, and you're also creating this video course. I'm curious, what is your favorite type of content? What do you prefer to create more? Do you like writing more? Do you like this kind of like video format?
Okay, that's a good question. I like video format, but I'm just a beginner here, and I was doing it for fun, although I have some good guests.
I've seen that.
Rachel Wright, for example, and some other Jira administrators with great experience and some interesting thoughts. But I'm still gathering experience as a, let's say, podcaster. But I have writing and journalist background as well, because I used to work in a newspaper and in some television as well for like 2 years, and yeah, I just like writing, you know.
That's like you have lived so many professional lives, artist, journalist, tech person, admin, coder.
Yes, yes, I was, you know, searching and gathering experience. So
But that's good because it means that now you can do the things that you do, which is have your own blog, write, be in front of the camera, talk to people, and provide solutions. I'm curious, what's the, you've said you collected a bunch of scripts and you put together your portfolio of, goodies and so on when it comes to ways
Yeah.
of doing things in Atlassian. What's your motivation behind sharing this on your blog, on your video content? Is it? I'm asking because I'm curious because I do it for a specific reason, and everyone has their own reasons on why share with others. There are people in the ecosystem that are, and nothing wrong with that. It's perfectly fine, right? But they have a different type of drive, and not necessarily that open to, hey, I've learned this thing, let me teach you as well. Although the Atlassian ecosystem, I would say it's predominantly people helping each other. But I'm curious what drives you in that direction.
You know, just I wanted to bring some value to the people because I know that couple of my solutions can make others administrators work easier, and I just, it's kind of natural for me. I don't see a point why not sharing. When I have, it's like helping other people. I don't know, on the street. You see that somebody needs something, a help, and you are capable of helping because I don't know, you can lift something or just point a direction or help with money or something else. I can do it because I have these features. So that's the same when it comes to this world, right? So I see that there are some questions on let's say community forum or like Stack Overflow and some other platforms, and these questions are repeating. So I say, okay, let's, I know the answer for some of these questions, so let me share it, and hopefully I will get some answers too, based on, for example, on comments or on the feedback of the readers. So it's natural thing for me.
That makes a lot of sense. I think it's also, as we learn, we go through life and learn and apply our learnings for our own purpose. At least for me, it feels half achieved. Sharing that learning with others as well, that feels more purposeful in general. If you've learned this skill, this trait, you've done this script to help your company and so on, that's great, mission achieved. But you can maximize that by also teaching others outside your problem solving setup.
Yeah, the positive feedback sooner or later will come back to you in one form or another. So it's worth sharing.
100%. One thing that I've learned now, you might be experiencing this now as well. As you create content, you'll probably start also hearing a lot of people's needs, and that just perpetuate you wanting to create more content. Oh, well, I've published these scripts and I have audience and people that are consuming the content, but I also hear their pains with XYZ. So, let me solve that problem as well and teach others. And I think that's the beauty of being a content creator and teaching others. I don't think there's an end to it.
There is no end. I like to think about this like yin and yang, because I like to see my attitude, like exchanging, like having two attitudes at the same time, a teacher and a student, right? When you have a teacher attitude, you can share your knowledge, you can, give somebody value, but you can learn at the same time while teaching. And when you have a student mindset, you are not afraid to ask questions and I always assume that someone knows something that I don't, so that's why I'm open to conversation, and I know that I can learn from anyone. Yeah. Because you can learn from anyone, even a tiny thing in somebody's I don't know, expression, discussion or something. You can take something for yourself from that.
I completely agree. I think there's always someone that knows something that you don't. So yeah, that's why I also constantly keep on trying to meet more people and engage with as many people as possible, because that's the reality of it. And if you don't acknowledge that, then I don't think you're mature enough to understand, that there's you can always do better. You can always learn more things from others. Well, this is a really good conversation. I wanted to ask, you talked about your courses that are coming soon. Is there anything else that you want to? I'm curious what are we going to expect from you moving forward, be it content, work, anything like that?
Okay. First of all, you can expect some explanation about my background, maybe, because we are sitting here for a couple of minutes right now, and some of you can be, maybe even you, Biro, can be, wondering what's that.
I see some boxing gloves there.
Yeah, there are many things. Okay. Basically, it's my garage where I, exercise, box, and so on. And this is the first thing. And the second thing, it's the only quiet place in my the place where I live right now because of the kids. So it's my man's cave. So I can right after our conversation, I can immediately start working out, and
nice.
It's gonna be fine.
Very nice.
So I have some time just for myself. I feel comfortable here.
I have my studio is my Zen room, my quiet room.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it looks like Zen room. Yeah, it's really nice. And the question was, what can you expect from me? So, okay. As a Jira administrator and blogger, you can expect 1 or 2 courses in the near future, I hope, and some other stuff like, let's say, podcasts. I have some guests in mind, but you can also expect some new songs. I don't know when yet, but but it's gonna be hopefully interesting for you. Just the guitar and vocals. So that's why I'm working on right now.
That's awesome. All of it sounds really awesome. The courses, I'm sure that there's a lot of people that are looking forward for that, myself as well. The English ones, because I don't know any Polish. The podcast, looking forward to see what new guests you're going to bring there. And also the music, as I mentioned, I'm super interested. I have an electric bike, the very retro-looking electric bike that I usually take on the sea front, because I'm at the seaside here, and just ride it in the wind. And I like to listen to music, and especially, acoustic rock and such. So really looking forward to hear your music as well.
Okay, I will definitely send it to you.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining me today. Really happy to be back to Jexo with Friends. Been a bit busy with PM72 Summit and other bits. So it's really nice to be back, and especially with a guest like yourself, Łukasz. Everyone else, feel free to check out the links in the description to learn more about Łukasz and what he does and his content. And I'll see everyone next time.
Okay, thank you. Regards from Poland. Cheers, and see you next time. Bye bye, Bilo. Thank you.
Bye bye.